All right, in my last video, I talked about how index annuities are veiled in secrecy. They're like Bigfoot. Rarely do you ever see all of the moving parts of these things so that you can actually calculate what they're really all about. Information about step-up annuities, which are basically deferred income annuities, is also hard to come by. Now, Charles Schwab has a calculator, and I recently found a post on MarketWatch by someone claiming to own one of these 7% step-up annuities with a 5.5% upfront bonus. And assuming it's true, he did give us at least enough information to make some comparisons to traditional investing. And you know, one of the logical fallacy talking points used by insurance salesmen is to say that lots of people are very happy with their annuities. And this is supposed to sound the all clear for you to let down your guard and dump your money into that high commission annuity that Mr. Advisor is trying to sell you. But so this guy who posted on MarketWatch, prime example of someone who is very content with and proud of their decision to dump $80,000 into an annuity. And the reason he's so happy with this annuity is because, number one, the mathematics fools people. It's like an optical illusion. It appears to be a great deal when it actually isn't. Also, he probably doesn't understand that roll-up rate is not cash surrender value, and he doesn't understand that the growth of the roll-up rate, the basis for his income payment rate, that stops once he starts taking income payments. And this is so critically important to the mathematics of it all. Also, I don't know if in the early years, if you die, do they give beneficiaries a certain percentage of this accumulation value? More than likely, I think they get the $80,000 that he initially put up minus whatever income payments were paid out to him over time. But unless we see the verbiage of the contract, we don't know. He also doesn't seem to understand that when income payments are fixed for life, they don't keep pace with inflation, as would income from stocks and bonds, which would be expected to. And he apparently thinks that investing in bonds and stocks is an I don't know thing, despite the fact that we have 90 years of stock bond return data from which we can make reasonable forecasts. In the last 22 years, we haven't had an annual decline of even 1%. In the last 80 years, we haven't had an annual decline of more than 6%. So traditional investing is not an I don't know thing if you take low risk instead of high risk. Bonds and stocks together are very predictable, especially if all you want to do is beat an annuity. And so you do what insurance companies do with people's money. You invest about 72% in bonds and only 28% in stocks. Yeah, the Ibsen 28-72 rule. So this annuity that he thinks is so fabulous, right off the top, as soon as you dump money into it, they give you 5.5%. Then it grows by 7% per year until the day you decide to start taking income payments. But of course, this value is not cash surrender value. It doesn't work that way. Otherwise, insurance companies would be going out of business. This is merely roll-up value. It's just an accounting ledger that is used to calculate income payment rate when you decide to start taking those fixed income payments. So his $80,000 will grow to an imaginary $166,000 after 10 years when he's 73 years old. Then at that point, it basically works like an immediate annuity. They will pay him 6.1% of the roll-up value of $166,000. That means that the insurance company will pay him $10,127 per year until the day he dies. Now, it's really important to note that the actuarial life expectancy of a 63-year-old male is only 19 years. Now, why is that important? Because if you're taking money out of traditional bond and stock investments, the safe withdrawal rate is no longer 4%. A 2007 study suggests that when you have just a 20-year time horizon, the safe withdrawal rate can be as high as 5.5%. But anyway, so I back-tested this annuity versus a low-risk 28-72 mix of stocks and bonds beginning at 1966, the worst year to begin retirement. Low returns and high inflation. So we started with $80,000 over here. By January 1, 1976, it was worth $117,451. By the way, this is real cash surrender value, not a fictitious roll-up value. So then we started taking out 5.5% inflation-adjusted income from this real value of bonds and stocks. And notice that in the first year of taking income, the annuity is paying $3,667 more income. And this is the tease. Consumers are so focused on the now that they aren't paying attention to what happens over time. Because notice how it didn't take but 5 years before our stocks and bonds were producing almost the same amount of income that the annuity is still paying. Then another 7 years later, our bond and stock index fund portfolio was paying out $3,723 more than the annuity at age 85. On the right here, we're taking out 5.5%. With the annuity, this is just 4%. Then it just keeps getting worse. By age 90, the stock and bonds are paying almost $7,000 more than the annuity. Again, we're adhering to the 5.5% rule on the right, and now with the annuity, you're trying to survive on just 3.26%. So at this point, you're eating cat food to cut down on expenses. So just think about this. So if living on only 5.5% now seems depressing, try 4% and then 3.26% when you're 90 years old. So now you understand why putting money into an annuity is like deciding that taking a vacation now is more important than having food and shelter later in life. If money is tight, you have to take sensible withdrawals in your early years. Live within your means or work a little longer. But having fun now by getting drunk on an annuity will cost you later in life. And what about your heirs, your beneficiaries? They will suffer too. Whatever income payments are made to you are subtracted from what they get. By the way, this guy didn't even mention what exactly beneficiaries get if you die sooner than later. He says the money will get refunded to his estate. Well, if they get his $80,000, then the internal rate of return on investment is 0. If he dies at age 73, then his heirs get 0 return on investment. That's nothing to boast about. And then what happens to the $80,000 if he dies at age 74 or 75, etc.? I suspect they probably subtract any and all of the $10,127 payments that were made from the $80,000 in order to calculate death benefit. And if so, that's still a 0 return on investment, 0 return on his investment. And also, this can't be stressed enough. Imagine if I picked a good or a great starting point instead of using 1966 onward. In other words, this annuity couldn't even beat the stock bond traditional investing mix when put through a stress test. Chances are you'll do even better.